Hey guys, good morning. Happy oh look, I'm so used to field. Happy Saturday, y'all. It's Saturday morning. Excuse my little band-aided side. I was reaching for something on the shelf. I don't know if I ever explained that in the last video. I was reaching for something on the shelf in the store, and canned good came and split my face. So forgive the little that. But anyway, as promised, I am on my way to school, headed to go and do licensure prep for the LSW exam. Not sure what I can show you guys, just because I don't want to record, something I'm not supposed to record, and I definitely don't want to put people on camera if they don't want to be on camera. So I don't know what I can get, but if I can't get anything, I will definitely, just follow back up and tell y'all, what I learned, what I took from it, my likes, my didn't likes, whatever. But anywho, guys, it is 8:25. I left home at 8:15. It'll probably take me until about 8:45, 8:50 to get to school, just because it is a ways from my house. And like I said, it's open to the public. It's open to, alums. I mean, anybody could come. I think they do cap the class maybe at 25, 30 people. But I know my field instructor who is doing the class, she's always like, oh, the more the merrier. Let them all join. We have rooms big enough, because she is actually an alum of the school that I attend. So anyway, we shall see. I'm excited. I should have made coffee this morning, but I don't want to turn into that person where I have to drink it all the time, because I usually don't. I usually go through my little phase, and then that's that. But it seems like I've been drinking espresso with my protein shake at least a month now. If not a month, at least 3 weeks. So I just said forget it today. Y'all hear that? I hate these things on the freeway, the little bump things. But if you falling asleep, it's a good indicator. This is a good wake-up call. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to just take y'all with me. See y'all in a little bit. It is 4 hours later, and the little LSW study session was amazing. I already knew it would be, just because I knew it would be facilitated by my field instructor, who I think is amazing. She's very good at what she does. Now, we just be busy at the Head Start, and so we don't really see her like that. And then, well, let me take that back. We don't be busy. She's busy at the Head Start. Like I said, she supervises a couple of different teams. And, my negative comments, which they aren't really negative, it's just, true, that I'm personally, I like to be, productive, and we're not really being productive at the Head Start, but it has nothing to do with who I think she is as a person. And so anyway, saying all that to say, she, as I expected, was a wealth of information. She was very, relaxed with how she was teaching, which kind of made everybody kind of comfortable to just kind of discuss answers and kind of shout it out. She encouraged us with the fact that there was no, wrong answer. So even though I might have said A and, somebody else said B, and the majority of the group said D, we would, talk, we felt comfortable, doing that. And then we would discuss why the answer was one of those or neither of those, and it was C, and everybody got it wrong. You know what I'm saying? It was just a good, cool environment. Probably was 13 people there. So, you had us 5 from my cohort. We had some other people from the school that are not ready to graduate yet, they were juniors. We had somebody that graduates in December, so naturally she's not in field and stuff with us, just because she did all that last year. And then we just had some people like that heard about it word of mouth that didn't even go to our school. Some people were still in school but at another school. And then one guy was there who was already, like, he had graduated with his BSW like 5 years ago, and he has not been able to pass the test, and he felt like, you know, he keeps spending money because it's like almost $300 to take the exam. Sorry guys, this is a bumpy road, but you know, he's paying for these study materials and these prep sessions and, you know, all of that. And so he was like, maybe if I came here, you know, to a free session, like any little bit helps, just because right now I'm like financially in the hole trying to get this license. So anyway, very chill environment. They did provide like donuts and coffee for people. And we just discussed like questions. So we started off with a group of questions that she had on like the projector, but like after question 5 and everybody was getting it right, she was like, well, these are too easy. So then she went to like the hard stuff, and it wasn't too challenging, but it did make us think. And as she pointed out, you know, with the exam, majority of the answers would apply. Like, you know, you would do all of these things, but you have to pay attention to the question, which, you know, as a social worker in this situation, what would you do first? Pay attention to that. So you might do all these things at some point, but what is the very first thing you would do? What would you do? What is the best answer or most? You know, you have to pay attention to stuff like that. Like, so it's just kind of like comprehending, you know, y'all remember that from school. She gave us like a little cheat sheet with acronyms, excuse me, and she said, you know, we can't take that into the exam with us, but if we can remember the acronyms for the order in which you could answer questions, like, you know, you explore the patient's feelings, you assess the situation, you refer them if need be, you educate them, you know, like down that list. So if you can remember that, she said, you get in there and they give you a whiteboard, write that stuff down like automatically from your head, and then just use that as your guide to answer the questions. I mean, but of course the questions are very tricky. And so her other tool and tip was to not go into the test in your social worker brain, because obviously, I mean, that just kind of like is up for interpretation. When you use a social worker brain, you are like, oh my God, I gotta be really paying attention to the question. I got my answer, gotta be dead on. But if you go in with like a common sense brain and you don't think like a social worker, and you just think, what is this question asking me? Like, forget all the fluff, because social workers, we read questions and we gonna, you know, analyze it to death. Like, oh my goodness. Like one of her examples, and this is not a question on the test, but it was funny because she's like, as a social worker, we'll read a question that'll say, okay, as a social worker at a local hospital, you've been there for 4 years and you primarily work with women who are pregnant. You are working with a client, you have been working with a client for the past 6 weeks, and recently she has just been diagnosed with preeclampsia. She has been having headaches, and her boyfriend drinks a lot. How long is pregnancy? Right? Obviously, that's just not a question that's going to be on the test. But she was like, as a social worker, you are thinking about all the shit that came before the question. Like, okay, so I've been here for this long. I'm a medical social worker. Okay, and I work with these patients. Oh, okay, she got diagnosed with preeclampsia. Okay, she had this other problem going on, and her boyfriend is drinking. But the question was, how long is pregnancy? All around the world, that's going to be 9 months. But in the social worker brain, I'm trying to think about all of the stuff that you just gave me about this client, the background information, and I completely overlooked the common sense answer to your question. So anyway, she was just saying, go into it and just take your common sense brain and not necessarily your social worker brain, and you'll do just fine. I mean, and then she also just kept driving home the point that all you needed was 93 to 107, a score of 93 to 107 to pass the test and be licensed. She's like, first of all, nobody knows your score. It's pass or fail. So once you're licensed, you're licensed. That's all that matters. She was like, you could have somebody that you've been working with as your therapist, and you think that they're so great of a social worker or whoever. It might not be your therapist, but anybody. You could think that they're so great, and they might have just got the bare minimum. I mean, it doesn't matter. They're licensed. That's all that matters. It doesn't depict what kind of social worker you'll be. Some of us are just not good test takers, and I mean that, seemed to relax the crowd. I know it was relaxing for me. It depends on the test. I am nervous about taking the test, of course, but I am a good test taker. I do well under pressure, and I study, but I don't like overstudy. Like, I don't know, I've been like that like my whole life. So I appreciate it, the reminder or whatever, but it's like I overanalyze shit. Like, I do that in real life, so I know I would do that with questions. But if I can remember what she said, to just kind of like focus on the question, and I think that might even be a strategy of mine, like hearing her talk and actually like going over the example questions. I personally feel like my strategy might be to read the question all the way through, and then read just the let me start over. I think my strategy would be to read the portion, like whatever it says, because not all of it is the question. Some of it is just the background information, but reading the statement all the way through. Then I'm going to probably just hone in on the question. So the last thing in the statement, I'm going to hone in on the question and work backwards. And then that'll probably help me make my common sense, answer or whatever. So I don't know. Like, I think that is probably going to be my strategy. Of course, we don't know until we know. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know until we're actually like doing it. So we shall see. But I am excited. I feel a little bit better about it. Of course, I'm still going to be nervous and everything else. She did also provide tools, so I don't have them offhand, but I will say that she said go into like the Play Store. I don't know what it is for Apple users. I got an Android, but wherever you go and download like games and apps, and go into that, like the App Store, and type in ASWB, and it was like one that pops up where it's bachelor's exam. There's another one that just, you can type in ASWB tool, test taking tool, whatever, like keywords. The main thing is ASWB, and then you can look up like tools and apps and stuff. She said majority of it is free, but the bachelor's exam one is like $4.99. She was like, but she loved that because she downloaded it to her phone, and you could set like how many questions, like example questions, you want to take. So she was like, I told myself a month before the exam, just because I'm not a good test taker and I'm not a good studier. She says this about herself. She was like, I just told myself at night when I'm like scrolling on my phone, and usually like on Facebook or whatever, she was like, I won't do that. I'll just take the time to actually answer these questions. So she was like, I would just get on and be like, okay, let me do 15 questions. And then she was like, instead of playing a game at night or being on Facebook, I would just take the time to like answer the question. She was like, if I was like at a doctor's appointment, waiting for an appointment, waiting on the doctor, waiting to see the doctor, and you just sitting in the lobby. If I was on my lunch break and just on my phone anyway, she was like, yeah, I would just like take the time to like go into that app, because once you pay for it, you've paid for it, and you don't always get the same question. But she was like, just doing that every day in small increments for 30 days, she said it really helped, really helped me out when it came time to take the test or whatever. And so stuff like that, guys. I mean, she didn't have very much like information that she gave us other than those acronyms, but she said she will email me stuff, and I kind of want to get the video up, so I may not be able to share that, but I think I gave you guys some good information and stuff to get you started. I don't know. So it's Saturday, it's beautiful, it's 12:17. I am on my way home. I'm about to chillax for about an hour or so. I'll definitely download the app that she was telling us about, and then I am going to not gonna make that light. And then I am going to I don't know, probably do some homework or whatever. Not sure. We'll figure it out. But I just I wanted to come back, give you guys the information, tell you how I felt about it. It definitely calmed my nerves a little bit. Low-key, it kind of gave me a little confidence, just because I was like getting a lot of them right. I mean, I got some wrong, but then like it's 170 questions total, but they only count 150 of the questions. Like 20 of the questions are practice tests, and you don't know what those tests are. Like, they're just incorporated into the test just to see if they are good, questions or whatever to be asked, but they're not counted. So even though it's 170 questions, really only 150 are scored. So I don't know. I kind of gassed me up where I wish I was going to take the test like sometime soon, but she does another session in March, so I'll definitely probably participate in that. And I don't know if you're a senior like me, but if you are, you can with approval, you can sit for your exam your second semester of your senior year. So you guys might want to start thinking about that and getting that started and seeing what that process looks like in the area that you're in. But I am gonna let you guys go. I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I hope you enjoyed this little extra video. If you liked the video, go ahead and like the button, comment, let me know what you think. Subscribe to the page if you want to see more comments. Not comments, if you want to see more content from your girl. But other than that, guys, I hope you have a great one. Talk to you soon.